What is going on, everyone? It is vlog number 16, and today's video, I want to talk a little bit about how to survive the desk life. Being at home a little bit more often, working from home, should have a good setup at your home, and also I'm going to show you just some tips and tricks on how to feel better so you don't have as much tension in certain body parts. So let's get it started with tip number 1, and that is moving often and changing positions. So when we start feeling tension and pain, it's usually because we get stuck in one position, and then your shoulders start to bother you after a few minutes, and your low back starts to tense up after an hour. So the key is to change positions, get up, walk around, or even just like fidgeting around, stretching it out in or while you're staying at your desk. And one tip that I like to do is actually called Pomodoros, which means you do 25 minutes of work. You put a timer down, 25 minutes is up, you do 5 minutes of something else. So I always like to stand up, maybe I'll go clean something, and then come back, and then I'll get back to work, and then you do another 25 minutes. And that just forces me to get up and move around. Another thing you can do is grab a big glass of water, drink that while you're working, and whenever you drink too much water, have to go to the bathroom. So it usually forces you to stand up and move around. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is ergonomics, is making sure that your eyes are eye level, or your face is eye level to your monitor. So instead of having your head down here, typing away, looking at a screen down here, if you can, get a external monitor. And that's what I did. I never had one of these, but because I started to do a little bit more work on the computer, I figured having an external monitor with a bigger screen would be helpful. So I just connected my laptop to the screen. And then I created this stand that I actually made out of IKEA, things I found at IKEA. So this is actually a small bookshelf, and these little legs are actually the pieces that go here and that would attach to the wall. So I created this little stand, probably like 15, 20 bucks, and that way I could prop up my monitor. So now I can look straight ahead instead of looking straight down, to help at least take some of the tension away from my upper back. So making sure that that's eye level. Tip number 3 is, a lot of us just hunch over a lot when we're at our desk. It's natural. People are gonna work that way. It's really tough to be kind of military and do this the whole time, but making sure we're in a slightly better position so we're not always hunched over is always good. So I like to concentrate on making sure my low back is actually arched. So what happens is, when we're looking down here, our low back is rounded. And when you create a low back arch, look at my upper body. So look up here instead of my lower body. When you do a low back arch, your upper body automatically pulls back. So I actually like to concentrate on my hips when I'm sitting down and creating that low back arch, and your upper body pretty much automatically pulls back as a byproduct. So that's tip number 3. And then tip number 4 kind of goes with tip number 1, and that's changing positions often. So stand-up desks are a great idea, but I'm not a huge fan of just standing up all day, because then your feet start to hurt, then your low back starts to hurt. I like to change positions. So if you do have a stand-up desk, that's great, but I actually like to pair that with sitting or different positions. So maybe 25 minutes standing, you drop that desk down to regular level, do 25 minutes of work there, and just alternate back and forth, or whatever works for you. You can figure out what time span works the best, maybe an hour. And I actually like to do this cool trick. So I'm sitting down, I'm working, man, I'm getting a little tired and my body's starting to bother me. I'll actually pull the chair out of the way, and I'll actually kneel down. And now I can still do the same amount of work, or pretty much keep everything in the same position. And now my hips are actually they have to be a little bit more active, because now I'm in a kneeling position. You can do one knee down, you can do both knees down. It makes your glutes work just a little bit. Maybe your core has to fire up a little bit. And then again, the monitor stays in a good position, or you can pull that laptop out, and now you're probably not looking straight down anymore. but it's slightly at a better level. So you can get your work done this way. Hold this position for a little bit, pull that chair back over, and then now you can switch back to a seated position. So I actually like that, and those are some of my favorite tips on surviving the desk life. And maybe I'll do in a future vlog kind of this whole setup here, because again, this I created out of IKEA things I found out at IKEA, just bookshelf stuff. And then I have this other cool thing over here where I actually like to write notes down here if I need anything here to write and remind me of things. And yeah, maybe I can show you some of my gadgets later on. But that is it for today's vlog. Let me know if you have any comments down below. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.